Hey everybody, we know it's been a while
Yeah.
since we've checked in with you guys, and we apologize, but it's just been crazy busy since the last video we did right before we left Maine. So in this video, we're gonna catch everybody up, get you up to date on what we've been doing, where we've been going, some of the issues we ran into coming on the way back to Texas, and basically,
Say hi.
yeah, do an overall report. So yeah, you guessed it, coming up on RV Street.
So I just want to do a cheers to everyone.
Oh.
Martin?
Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.
You don't mind if we enjoy a margarita right now, do you?
Adult beverages are always good. But we also really want to say thanks to, some people that always are commenting and liking and, giving us the thumbs up. And
I mean, there's so many people, we could not mention them all.
yeah.
We just want you to know that we are seeing all of you out there and commenting and stuff like the M&Ms. Deb and her husband, hello.
Deluxe.
Deluxe. Christine, she's always putting
Yeah.
in comments. Really appreciate that.
Tucson Jack.
Tucson Jack, what's going on? And there's just so
Yeah.
many more. But we just want you to know that we see you, we recognize you, and we really enjoy collaborating with
And,
you.
thank you for taking the time, just making comments and
Yeah.
saying hi to us. So
Oh,
thank you.
one other thing. Did you notice that while we were up in Maine, right next to the Canadian border, Joni and I decided to become lumberjacks?
Yeah, we did.
All we need now is a chainsaw and a couple of trees.
And an axe. I need an axe.
I have an axe.
You have an axe?
Yeah, down in the bay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, chainsaw.
So anyway, let's get right to it. So if you remember, back last year, our two-part series where we went from RGV to Maine, remember that? We showed you the route that we took. We kind of went up through Arkansas and up around, and we took the right-hand side of the Appalachian
Yeah.
Mountains and got up to Maine. This time, coming home, I say home, well, Texas will, I guess, will always be our home.
Yeah, it really will.
But coming back to Texas for the winter, Joni took us a different route. She planned and she's really getting good at this, by the way. But she took us down through New York so we could.
Oh, yeah, I wanted Martin to see Niagara Falls. Excellent stop there.
Yeah.
But I just didn't want us to go back the way we came.
And we wanted to see our grandbaby in New York, too.
Oh, yeah, we wanted to see our precious granddaughter, so we got to do that.
Yeah. So she ended up routing us this way. And you can see that we ran west through New York, across the southern border of Lake Erie, over to Ohio, down to Indiana, down to Missouri, Oklahoma, and then to Texas. So you can see these two routes were totally different.
Totally. And we got to go through the Ozark Mountains.
Oh, God. Yeah. We'll tell you more about that here in just a little bit. So let's just start in sequence, okay? So in the beginning, we left Maine September 18th from Randy, her brother's place. That was in Bucksport, right there near Bangor, and we headed out and we shot down to Wells, Maine, which is right at the very bottom, the southern tip of Maine.
Yeah, and we hit Wells, and we planned on staying there for a week. Pulled in there. It's a nice enough park. But as we parked, we were in here and it sounded like somebody was shooting at the motorhome or something. I was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, I mean, we parked, leveled the coach, everything. Now we're starting to get everything all set up. And all of a sudden we hear this, bam, bam,
Bam, bam, bam.
bam, bam, bam. And the place was crowded. They only had one side open. We pulled in that site, and right above us was a ginormous acorn tree.
There were just acorns pounding our roof. And, if you've never actually been in a motorhome, even rain is loud. So imagine what an acorn sounded like.
Yeah, and every time a gentle breeze would come by, boy, it'd shake those leaves, and we'd just get a raining of acorns. Now, remember what we told you before, though. At nighttime, we said, this is not going to work. So we put in our silicone earplugs,
Yes.
and it was good to go to sleep.
But it was just startling every time it happened.
Yeah, all day long. So we cut that trip short. But anyway, while we were at Wells, we were only about maybe 3 or 4 miles away from a little town called Ogunquit.
Yes.
And Ogunquit is
It's a very touristy town.
yeah, and it's named after an Indian name, mean the calm city or the calm village or something like that. But that's Ogunquit. And in Ogunquit, they have this place called Marginal Way.
Yeah, it's a great trail.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's a trail that starts, you find a place to park down in Ogunquit, and you can walk down to the coastline, to the shore, right above the shoreline.
Yeah.
And it's a walkway that takes you all around the cliffs around Ogunquit, looking off into the Atlantic.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Unbelievable footage and beauty. We got there on a perfect day. It was about 70 degrees, blue skies. There were surfers out there, and
I didn't even know that people surfed in Maine.
they were all wearing wetsuits. But it's free. The only thing you have to pay for is parking. But Marginal Way, a beautiful, beautiful hike. So, after we stayed in Maine, in Wells,
We went to Sturbridge.
we went south to Sturbridge.
Yeah. The first time on our way here, 'cause Sturbridge is one of those places that you kind of have to stop on your way there and on your way back. The first time we were there, it was during a holiday, and we were not super fond of the park because it was just packed and loud.
It was Memorial Day.
Yeah. And this time, though, it was actually quite a pleasant stay.
Yeah, there were not many people there. The weather was still on the warmish side. The colors they were beginning to change, but they should have been further along.
Yeah.
But they just have had a really warm fall up here. But they were beginning to change. And while we were in Sturbridge, that's when we also took a 2.5-hour drive down south to New York and saw our grandbaby and spent the whole day with them.
Wait, our amazing, beautiful, precious granddaughter.
The one that can do no wrong, and just everything is so gorgeous about her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, her.
It's really the only one we have, though.
And
but-
she'll still be amazing, gorgeous, and nothing can be wrong.
Yeah. So anyway, we came back from Sturbridge, from New York to see the grandbaby, Ella, and got back to Sturbridge and left Sturbridge. We continued south to Corinth, New York. And we stayed at a place called Alpine Lake RV Resort.
We really both liked this park.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's an absolute huge park, but it's a beautiful park.
Yeah. And the colors are really starting to change here. In fact, on our Facebook page, if you look on our main YouTube channel, if you see that big banner of artwork across the top there, look off to the far right and you'll see that Facebook logo. If you click that, that'll take you to our Facebook page. Well, while we were at Alpine Village, we posted a picture of us looking out our door. It was beautiful.
Yeah, the fall foliage there was really starting to kick into high gear.
Beautiful colors, reflection in the lake. It was awesome. But I just mentioned the Facebook page in case you want to get those little incremental updates. You can find them there without us producing a whole video, which takes a whole lot more time than posting a picture on Facebook. But we stayed in Corinth, New York for a few days. Event free. Everything was fine. First couple of days it rained. Then it cleared up. It was all good. Then we continued west to
East Otto.
East Otto. That's also in New York.
Yes.
It's just south of Niagara Falls, about an hour. So that's where we stayed. And nice park, big park. And we decided to go to Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls. Oh my gosh, I took the best picture straight out of my camera in Niagara Falls. I mean, no Photoshop required. I do believe I also posted that on our Facebook page.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I absolute best picture I've ever taken in my life, in my opinion.
So we got there, and we stayed on the American side. It's a state park. It cost us $10 to park. And we both, cameras in hand, started exploring all out through Niagara Falls. When you're on the American side, you cannot see all the faces of the falls. You're basically behind the falls.
Yes.
And then you can see off to the sides of the falls. But still, just magnificent pictures, and you look at all that water and how far down it goes, and you can see the boats going down there. I mean, did you like that?
It was the Maid of the Mist. Oh yeah, I liked it. And of course, you know, we got almost there, and I looked at Martin and I said, "You do realize we forgot our passports, right?"
Yeah.
So we could not get to the Canadian side to see, you know, the full front of the falls.
Yeah,
but
I
even
forgot about that.
But even, you know, from the American side, it is absolutely beautiful.
And they have just recently remodeled the entire park on the American side.
Yeah.
It's nice restaurants, bathrooms, walkways, rest areas. So, a place of love. Niagara Falls is a place of love. We even saw a wedding there.
Yeah, how sweet.
It certainly rejuvenated my love for you.
Aw.
I know. So,
Okay, so onward.
we continued south. Well, actually, we continued west. After Niagara Falls and staying at that RV. We continued west, and now we're going along the southern border of Lake Erie and landed in Jefferson, Ohio. And we stayed in Genesee Lake RV Campground. It's a small campground, but it was very nice.
Yes, it was. In fact, it was a nice campground.
This campground had, I guess, about 100, 120, 140 sites, something like that.
Yeah.
But we found a really cool winery
Oh, indeed.
about 15 miles away. This winery was actually recommended to us by a friend of ours and client, Ann. Hi, Ann.
Hi, Ann.
Her and her husband used to live up here, right in Jefferson and the surrounding area. And she's like, "Oh, Martin, you've got to go and see our friend's winery." Then she gave me directions, and so we went.
And oh my gosh, for those that don't know it, I love ridiculously spicy food. And they had a habanero wine there. It was a
Yeah.
dessert wine. And, you know, we did a flight, and that was one of the wines in the flight. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is good." And Martin goes, "Oh, let me try it." And he was like,
Wow.
"Oh no."
Yeah, it was habanero, all right. It was quite hot, and I'm like,
Oh, super delish in my world. Absolutely.
but that habanero wine, just as a little side note here, this winery that we were at, they make also what they call winter
No, ice wine.
ice wine. These are made from grapes that are picked from the winter. Now remember, we're in Jefferson, Ohio. We're just south of Lake Erie. It snows here. It's freezing up here. But they let a certain amount of these grapes freeze, and then it changes the chemistry in those grapes. and they only get like 35% of the juice out of those grapes than they would out of the summer.
Well, I think the lady described it as being you get about half the juice at twice the price.
Yeah. So this habanero wine was like $35 a bottle, but it's because it takes so many of these grapes to make this. But yeah, it was like crazy hot. She loved it.
I loved it.
I
I
passed.
highly recommend it.
So while we were there, as we started getting close to the end of our stay, weather is beginning to change. It's raining, it's getting windy, and it's getting cold.
And I'm whining.
And she's whining. And I don't mean habanero wine. She's, it's cold. They were talking about 28, 29, 30 degrees and possible snow. I remember seeing that. I said, hey, we're out of here. This is why we got an RV. So we left and headed towards Batesville, Indiana. We arrived in Batesville, and it's a big place.
Yeah.
About 800 sites, a ginormous lake. Again, the colors are still... It's really weird how you change around from different parts. You go to one place and, man, the fall colors are awesome. Yeah, you go 300 or 400 miles one way, the other way, yeah, they still not quite turned as much. So we decided it's time to go to Branson, Missouri.
We originally was going to go from Batesville, Indiana to Branson with a stop at a Cracker Barrel, an overnight stop in between the two. But weather being what it was, and
I'm sitting here driving, and we'd already driven about 350 miles or so, and I told Johnny, I said, you know what, Johnny, I said, I'm good. I mean, because we left early. We left about 7:30 in the morning. And I said, man, why don't we just go ahead and go all the way? Let's go to Branson.
Yeah, Martin said, let's go for it. And I said, are you sure? He was like, yep, I'm good. And I was like, let's do this.
So we continued to drive and drive and drive. And now we're getting into the Ozark Mountains.
Very cool.
And lots of construction along.
Yeah.
Remember, we went through St. Louis.
Yes.
And
it was just, there was just construction everywhere.
There was. In Missouri.
Missouri.
I think that's how you're supposed to call it, Missouri.
Missouri.
But there's a lot of construction north and south of St. Louis. And then even after that, I mean, every 20, 30 miles, construction ahead, which is fine. I'm glad to see that they're doing, they're fixing up their roads.
Because they needed it.
Yeah, but here's the cool part. Remember, we've always told you guys, shared that we don't like driving on the weekends because we don't like weekend traffic. We don't like, something happens and you need to get help, a tow, a mechanic or whatever, and it's a weekend, good luck. Everything's closed on the weekends. So what?
No, even trying to find a spot in a park.
Yeah, even trying to find it's better to not travel on the weekends. Travel on a Monday, arrive there. That way everybody at the campground, they're gone. There's all kinds of open sites. Yeah. If you get broken down on the road, everybody's there. They can come out to assist you. But because of the weather pending, we decided let's just go for it. So we drove the whole way to Branson, 600 miles, and it was on a Sunday. So even though there was all this construction, we zipped right on through it all because they were all off.
Yeah,
there was nobody
no
working.
Traffic. There was nobody working, doing that construction. It made it really super easy for us.
Yeah, we were right ahead of this front coming in from the north. It was nipping at our heels all the way down. But we had blue skies ahead of us, no traffic. It was great.
Okay, so we were supposed to, in Branson, Missouri, we were supposed to stay in this park. It was called Treasure Lake. And we pulled in there, and it was dusk.
It was right at dusk.
And we checked in, and the lady said, "Just go and find a spot, and let me know where you are." I was like, "Okay." Well,
we got in this park. This is an RPI park, so we were able to get in this park for $12 a night. It just like she said, it was dusk. You could barely see. Joni went up there, and the lady said, "Oh yeah," she said, "Just." You can go down here. There's some spots over here. There's some spots over there. Blah, blah, blah. She shows us on the map. So she comes back and in the park we go. Now we're in the park. The sun has gone completely down now, and now we have headlights on, and we're looking off into all these little wooded areas with our car being towed still. We're 54 feet long now. Going through a park we've never been before at night. We can't see squat.
The sites are very, very close together.
And it had rained. Remember the weather? It had just rained.
You couldn't really see if, wait, is that a little gap between,
Yeah.
you know, the units, or is that it was ridiculous.
Yeah. So we talked to a couple of people that were walking on the side there, trying to get, asking them for directions and where can we turn around and blah, blah, blah. We finally looked at each other and said, you know what? Heck with this.
It's like, Martin, you know what? There's a Cracker Barrel right up the street, maybe a mile from here.
Yep.
Well, let's just pull out of here and spend the night there.
So we left that park and literally, like she said, went up the hill, turned left, boom, Cracker Barrel right there. And it had a lot of cars in the front of the parking lot, but when we went around the back, it was totally empty. And we found a long stretch. They had regular RV sites, lanes that RVs park here.
A lot of cars were in them.
And it would be good for like maybe a Class C or another, maybe a Class A that's not towing. But we are 54 feet long with the car.
Yeah, this particular one, it just wasn't long enough.
So we just pulled around the back and then around the opposite side over there. And we took up about 12 parking lanes there right up against the side of the bushes and stuff.
Yeah.
So we could open up our bedroom slide. I wish I would have taken a picture. I forgot. I could have just kicked myself when I figured out I didn't take a picture.
Yeah, but we verified that it was okay. The
Yeah.
manager said it was perfully fine if we stayed there. So
Yep.
we did.
Yep.
And I also ran in and got us some dinner, and
Yep.
That made things easy for us.
Yep. So everything was good there. We ate, got a great night's sleep that night.
Yep.
Got up the next morning, and we left Branson, Missouri, and drove another 380 miles to Texoma.
Lake Texoma Park.
Yeah, in Texas. Now,
Gordonville, Texas.
yeah, it's just 5 miles south of Oklahoma border. So traveling south, we went all the way through Oklahoma and just crossed the border 5 miles, and boom, that's where we are now. So 380 miles the second day, over 600 miles the first day. That was almost 1,000 miles in 2 days. This is something I don't do.
No, he does not, and he was so my hero. And we're just trying to get someplace warm.
Yeah. So we're here now in Lake Texoma. It's a Thousand Trails Park. Mm-hmm. It was cold, and we had a front come in the last couple of days. It was misty, cold, windy. Got down to 31 last night.
Yeah.
But now the rain is over, and we've got like a 7-day window of time. No rain. It's getting warmer every day. Tomorrow we're going to wax the motorhome. We're going to actually, we do this twice a year. So tomorrow we're going to wash it, get started on the wax, and then finish it up the next day. That'll be one less thing we have to do when we head down to our next stop. Joni, so just like we always do, it's always good just to kind of ad-lib it here. Our whole trip coming from Wells to here, all the different things that we experienced and all that. What were your thoughts on all that?
I really liked the fact that we went a different way and we were experiencing different things. I really liked the route that we took coming back. Mm-hmm. It seemed easier than further east, more towards the East Coast. It just seemed like an easier trip, except for when we got in Oklahoma and the roads are just horrific. I never ever thought that I would say there are roads worse than Louisiana. There are.
There is.
And they are in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Coming from Maine to here, I like the new route as well. it seemed really easy, a lot easier than the route we took going up, until we got to Missouri. Once we got to Missouri, and about maybe 100 miles north of St. Louis, from that point forward, or I should say from that point south, lots of construction. Even though we went through it pretty well, but climbing mountains, rolling hills. Now we're in the Ozarks. Once we got down to Branson, even in the town of Branson, I mean, it's like climbing up real high, getting to a stoplight way up there, and then sweeping down and around turns. And I mean, it's fine if you're in a car, but when you're driving a motorhome towing a car, 26,000 pounds and 54 feet long.
And what's funny is, if you're in a gas motorhome, which is what we have, we were climbing up one that was quite steep, and the speed limit is like 70, and we're chugging up it at about 35. I expected people to go by us and give us the finger or something, but they didn't.
You just pull over in the right-hand lane and let her go. Let her do her thing. I mean, the motorhome has operated and performed flawlessly.
Yes.
We've really put it through the gauntlet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going up to Maine, in Maine, and now back to here. On both sides of the Appalachians and the Ozarks, it has performed flawlessly. I kept written records of our gas records, and we are getting 7.3 miles per gallon, regardless of the terrain, whether we're hitting a headwind, whether we're towing, whether we're not. Just average overall on all those miles, 7.3, and that's good for our coach. That's good for any gas coach.
So once we leave here, we are going to Conroe, Texas.
Yep.
We're going to be staying there for 28 days, just catching up on doctor's appointments and dental appointments, and
this is where we catch up on all our annual stuff. Our personal annual stuff. Get our coach inspected and get our new tags.
Pull some maintenance on the motorhome and the car, change the fluids, and
we got to buy new tires for the car. Remember when we got it whacked in Pennsylvania on our way up to Maine? The guy there at the dealer said, Martin, he says, your tires, they're about halfway there. Just wanted to let you know. Well, that was in May. So they're due. So we're going to get new tires for the car. And but after we get all this stuff done in Conroe, we're heading to RGV for another glorious winter, and we'll be sure to post pictures on our Facebook page of us tanning at the pool in January. You're not going to want to miss seeing me in my
Speedo?
bathing suit.
You're going to wear your Speedo?
You got to see it. Come on.
Yeah.
So that pretty well sums up our trip from our glorious summer that we spent in Maine all the way back now down here to Texas. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to really do our best to be better at posting more frequent videos. It's just, we got a lot to do here. But anyway, we really enjoy you guys. Thanks a million. This is RV Street. Stick around.